Welcome to Birds of Essex for May 2023. How are you, Steve?
Thank you, mate. Yeah, not bad at all. Enjoying the sunshine. Finally, we've got some spring weather.
I can see it streaming through your window. That looks right. Your face looks really quite sort of rosy and glowing this evening, I must say.
Thank you very much, darling.
Oh.
You know how to charm me, don't you?
Well, you know. Yeah, you've been busy recently. Well, we've both been busy, haven't we? Really, lots have happened since the last show. So we haven't had a show since March, I think, wasn't it?
April, wasn't it? April?
No, we didn't do one last month.
No, April was last month. You're right. No idea what month it is.
It's a good start. Yeah, so we haven't done a Birds of Essex since March, but we obviously had the Big County Birdwatch at the beginning of May. So that took up a bit of time, and we had shows every evening for that. And we're going to run through the very basic sort of statistics from the final results from that later on. And what else have we got coming up? We've got the photo competition.
The competition, big finale, the final, the winner will be announced.
Absolutely.
Later on this evening. So
yeah, so if I get the pictures up for that very quickly, hold on 1 second. We were saying just before we started, we were saying we're ready, we're good to go, and I've realised I haven't even got the photo competition loaded, and that's the first thing we're talking about. Okay, here we go. So share screen. As ever. Yeah, absolutely. Right, so if you go to the EBWS website, and on the homepage, one of the first stories on the homepage, as you scroll down, you'll see this lovely little picture of 3 mallard ducklings jumping into the water. And these are the 4 finalists in the spring competition. So the competition, the voting ends in about half an hour. Yep. So you've just got time to vote if you want to. And the way you do it, you basically have a look at the pictures, choose your favourite. There's 4 wonderful pictures on here. And then you click at the top here to go through to the voting screen and simply choose the photo you want to vote for. And at the bottom of that screen, there's a button that says vote. So it's nice and straightforward. And please, if you haven't done so already, please vote. And we'll reveal the results in the second half, I think, won't we?
There's still time, you know. And well, you'll see later, there were some cracking entries in this season's competition. So, yeah, exciting stuff. Looking forward to that.
Absolutely. Yeah, we've got a video at the end of the show where we're going to show all of the entries into the competition. So that's well worth sticking around for, if you haven't fallen asleep by then already, of course. There you go.
People won't have fallen asleep, Matt, because we've got a very exciting birding site guide coming up as well.
I was actually talking to you, to be fair. Yes, no, we have got a wonderful birding site guide. So we've done a site guide. People have been asking for a guide to Holland Haven. Yep. So we did a guide to Holland Haven, and we teamed up with a mystery special guest.
We did.
And so more on that later on in the second half as well, which will be good. And yeah, we're going to be sharing. People have sent in some pictures. So again, if you've got any pictures to send in, you can do it live if you want to. We'll try our very best to show them all while we're talking. So as always, you can log into the chat and make comments in the chat, and I can see out the corner of my eye people are doing that already. And you can email pictures and stories and video clips to ebwstalks@gmail.com. We've got a few already. If we can process the ones that come in while we're talking, if we get any, then we'll show them later on as well. So, yeah, thank you very much.
Obviously, if you're watching this and you're not subscribing to our YouTube channel, please hit the little subscribe button, little bell in the bottom corner of YouTube. And if you're liking, you've only had 5 minutes of us, but if you're liking it so far, thumbs up, please. That'd be really good.
Yeah. So thumbs up, not thumb down.
No thumbs down. No.
Oh, well, spring. Spring has finally, well, you say spring has finally sprung. You were just telling me that Monday's meant to be cold again, wasn't it?
Yeah, Monday's supposed to be like 15 degrees and about 5 degrees at night. But yeah, these northerly winds are a bit of a pain at the moment. But yeah, but at least the sun's shining, which is really good.
The sun is shining, and the birds have gone, or some of the birds have gone a little bit quiet. So probably means they're hunkering down and breeding, or on eggs, or maybe with fledglings. I think a lot of the water birds have got fledglings already. So coots and mallards and great crested grebes and various other bits and pieces. So that's all good. And we'll talk about what we did this morning later on, but we saw lots of starlings earlier on, didn't we?
We did, yeah, loads of young starlings. So far they appear to having a really good breeding season. But of course, while you're out and about this time of year, it's a really good time to be conscious of what birds you're reporting. Obviously, starlings are a very common species, but there are within the county in Essex, we are lucky to have some quite scarce breeding species. And it's just that time of year to be very sort of sensitive and not broadcast on social media where you're seeing some of these birds, because the bird's welfare comes first, basically.
No, absolutely, well said. It's the same as the photo competition. Anything that we do to do with watching the birds, as Steve just said, has got to be done with the bird's welfare in mind. And it is tempting, if I went round the corner to Ardley Reservoir and found a rare bird that looked like it was breeding, I'd want to tell everyone because it's exciting. But yeah, first thought has got to be what's best for the bird. Definitely, well said. And talking about recording birds, obviously we this is what we do as the society. The job of the Essex Birdwatching Society is to record all the birds in the county and monitor the populations and conserve them and all those things. And we wouldn't be able to do any of that without you guys putting the sightings into our website, which is great. And we wouldn't be able to do anything at all without Mick Tracy, who's the county recorder. And he kind of takes all the sightings and puts them all together. Was it 300,000 or something last year?
It was near, well over 250,000 records. So yeah, which is a phenomenal amount of work that Mick and the team put in.
And then he sends them all across to Neil Sumner, who's the editor of the Essex Bird Report, and he edits them and sends them out to all the sub-authors, and goodness knows, it's an incredible job. And then what you get at the end of it all is one of these. Hey! So
and whose picture is this on the front then?
Well, it might be mine, but yes, no, thank you very much to Neil and Sean for popping my picture on the front. I was really pleased with that, actually. Thank you.
Was there a £5? Was there a £5 note in the?
There was in there. I sent them one each. Yeah, that's how it works, isn't it? So.
Right. You can't beat a good old bribery.
But no, I mean, this is obviously the record. But as members know, it's amazing. It's got all of the species that are seen in 2021. So we are. This is really up to date. I don't know if there's any other societies that are as up to date as we are. And it's a really good publication. And just congratulations to Neil, to Mick, to all the sub-authors. Everyone, to Sean for doing the photographic side of things as well. And there's an appeal at the moment, isn't there, from Neil?
Yeah, so Neil is always after help. As Matt just said, it's a big it's a lot of effort goes into this. And I was involved. I was joint editor many years ago of this, and that's only when we had like 50,000 records or 100,000. So Neil's after help. So basically, the report's divided up into sections. So maybe waders, maybe warblers, that sort of thing. And basically, they're after sub-editors to help analyze the data and then just write some of the sections. I've done it again in the past, and it's a great, very rewarding. So yeah, I think if you've got the any information there, Matt.
Well, we sent out a MailChimp to everyone on the mailing list. So if anyone's interested in helping Neil with this, if you contact us on ebwstalks@gmail.com, just drop us a quick email and I'll send you the information after the show. But basically, you just need a rudimentary knowledge of Excel, because there's a lot of spreadsheet work involved, and then the ability to just analyze that data that you're sent and put it into words. So, it takes a bit of time, but it's not too time consuming. You can do it when you can fit it in. There's plenty. I think it's end of October. I think it may be for the and to get it in for the next year's publication. So you can do it on rainy evenings, rainy days, rainy evenings even.
Evenings as well. Yeah.
Yeah. So just whenever you've got time.
And also, you have got the old reports as a guide, so you're not starting from scratch.
Yeah.
It does give you a bit of a helping hand what's already printed. So yeah, it's a very rewarding job. So yeah, please get in touch with us.
Yes, please do. Right, so we're going to start the main part of the show with a little bit of sad news, unfortunately.
While we talk about getting in touch?
Yes.
quite a few people have got in touch tonight.
Okay, go on then.
So we've got Gloria Lamb, who's watching this evening. Good evening, Gloria. We saw Gloria this morning. More on that later. Richard Chew, evening, Matt and Steve. He's multitasking tonight. So for a bloke, that's obviously just tricky in the first place. But he's watching us and Manchester United versus Chelsea.
Has it kicked off? It hasn't kicked off yet, has it? I don't think.
I don't know, to be honest. I don't know. I presume Richard's. What do you reckon? Is he a Chelsea fan or Manchester United fan?
I reckon he's Man United. That's
I was going to go Chelsea, but okay.
Okay. Let us know, Richard. Let us know and predict the score. I want the score in the chat now, and we'll see how good you are later on.
Okay, Richard. Frankie Robertson's watching. Evening, Frankie. And
hi, Frankie.
Paul Daughtry's watching.
Hi, Paul.
And we've got Bright Rach, who's watching on behalf of the children of the Quince Tree Day Nursery.
Hello.
Good evening. Good evening.
Yes.
Thanks for watching on behalf of the children.
I think we've got a photograph coming up in the video at the end of the show that was sent in by the nursery. So yeah, thank you for that.
Stanley Davis saying hi everyone. Evening, Stanley. David Gotts. He said evening. He used to birdwatch a lot in his youth, and he's hoping to get back into it. So no better than to watch us, and it won't. Hopefully, it won't put you off.
Yeah, if we don't put you off for life, you know it's the right hobby for you. Are you in Essex, David? If you're in Essex, obviously you are more than welcome to join us.
Yeah, absolutely. Caroline White's watching. Brian Cox. David said he's been covertly enjoying our monthly shows.
Oh, excellent.
Like, behind the curtains or something.
So he's the one that's been watching us.
And Richard said kickoff's 8 o'clock. He's Manchester United fan. And 2-0. 2-0 to Manchester United. So
okay.
There you go.
See, there you go. Right. Martin Buckley as well has said evening all. One of his photos is in the final, so fingers crossed. So fingers crossed.
Yeah, fingers crossed. It's going to be a tight final four, I think.
Right. But yes. So as I was saying,
sad news.
We've got a bit of sad news, unfortunately, and genuine sad news. And this actually was a bit upsetting when it came onto the local WhatsApp group. So some of you may remember or may have even seen this lovely little bird at Abberton. I think it might have actually been me that came up with the idea of calling him Ziggy, because it reminded me a little bit of Ziggy Stardust. But there you go. And unfortunately, Ziggy was found on the Lair Breton Causeway, and he'd been hit by a car, and he is no more. So that was on the 24th of April. So just thought I'd put a little picture up of him, really, just to remind people, and it's not necessarily people that are watching the show tonight. I would hope, but people in general that are going up and down the Abberton causeways, just to slow down. There's so many people speeding up and down the causeways there. I was at Hanningfield today, and the same thing happens there. And it seems to be that whenever you get a long stretch of road, people put their foot down, and these birds are at risk. They do fly low over the road. So yes, I'm sure everyone watching tonight is very careful. But if you know people that aren't, just tell them about poor little old Ziggy, and maybe it'll make them think twice. But there you go.
Because Ziggy was a quite little character. He was there a couple of years, wasn't he? And and it was always very close, so you could get some nice photographs of him. And Well,
actually, we didn't explain for anyone that doesn't know. Sorry, I'll bring him back again. There we go. We think of a cross between a Eurasian teal and a Baikal teal, which is why he looks so unusual on the facial markings here. So he's a crossbreed duck. I'd never seen one like that before. And I think he'd been seen south of the county for a little while, and then he moved up to Abberton, made Abberton his home. So there you go. Won't dwell on it too much. You've got something a bit happier though, haven't you, Steve?
Yes. Thinking, have I got anything happier? Yeah, we have. So during the Big County Birdwatch, which was back in the last few weeks ago, we had a letter in or an email in from David Smith from Whittam. And David birdwatches sort of Wetmead. So I don't know if anyone knows Wetmead, but it's a local nature reserve just on the edge of Whittam. Really nice place, right on the river, great for dragonflies, butterflies and birds. But to get there, you have to walk past the Anglian Water Sewage Works. And David's been going there for like 18 years now, and he's got quite acquainted with the people that work in the sewage works. And he was just chatting to one of the workers, and the worker was saying that the crows are causing them a little bit of an issue. So it was like, okay, why is that? And the crows, being corvids, they're very intelligent. So on the sewage works, you've got the rotating arms that go round. Well, the crows have learned to pick up a stone and drop them into the motor, so it stops the arms on the sewage works.
You're joking?
No, so the arms stop working, and then obviously there's things going on there, that levels of ammonia, and it sets off all the alarms apparently. But obviously the birds have learned if they drop the stone in, it stops the motor. They can feed quite easily on the beds without having to like do the jump over the things.
That is incredible, isn't it? I mean, how clever are crows? Are clever. I think most people know that. If anyone hasn't done this, grab a cup of coffee at some point. Obviously not now because we're doing this, but maybe later on. Go onto YouTube and just type in kind of clever crows or crows solving puzzles, and there's all sorts of stuff on there. It's fascinating. Yeah. Yeah.
So David, really bit of an interesting behaviour that is. I mean, I've never heard of that. I mean, I don't know if anyone's watching tonight that's heard of anything like that, but amazing.
Any crow related stories, please put them in the chat. Anything you've seen them doing that's really clever. Tina's, obviously we've got the crow family out the front here, which to be fair at the moment they've dwindled. We think they might be off doing breeding things the last sort of few weeks, but certainly last year one of the young crows was particularly naughty. They all have their character, and there's one in particular that was always kind of trying to peck things, pull things, break things, explore things. One of them was timid, but this particular one was very, very outgoing. So they are all different to each other. Yeah, so they're fascinating to watch.
So let us know.
Right.
What we got?
Where
next?
Have we been, and what have we seen? I think we're doing next.
We have. So what have you been up to?
Oh, crikey, me first. Okay, hang on a minute.
We just put you under pressure.
So I've really been kind of staying local. I mean, obviously, the Big County Birdwatch took up the majority of the beginning part of the month.
Yeah.
So what I've done is I've kind of looked at where I've been since then, and I've just got a few pictures really. So connected up with the spoonbill over at Abberton.
Nice.
We think there's another sort of 2 or 3 spoonbills over there this year. No, not sure as yet if there's any signs of breeding. As people know, they have bred there for the last 2 years, but at the moment jury's out whether they are or aren't. But that was nice to see them anyway, which is good.
Lovely.
And then I had a recce visit to Tiptree Heath earlier this month, and I managed to get some really quite nice views of garden warblers. So garden warbler, you'll often hear them singing, and it's a slightly tricky song to connect with. But you don't often see them singing out in the open. So this particular one was really close, giving it a good old blast. So it would have felt wrong not to take his picture. So I did. But there you go. That was nice.
It's amazing. We're just going back to that garden warbler, Matt. That's amazing how chunky it looks. They're a really chunky bird, aren't they? Blackcap's a very quite sleek looking bird.
Well, I've got some other pictures of this bird, and as it was sitting there, I just snapped off a few, and it does look kind of front heavy, really chesty and quite. I mean, the bill is fairly thick and blunt anyway. You can't really see that there with the bill open, but when the bill's closed, it is quite a blunt, thick bill. And yeah, I agree. Yeah, I mean, I think they're really, really chunky looking, but very supple. I mean, there's no real markings to speak of. It's kind of a fairly plain brown bird. There's a little bit of grey on the sort of rear part of the head here, which is, you can see in good lights. But the song's lovely. So yeah, really pleased to see that.
Stanley Davis has just messaged in to say he's got at least 3 pairs of garden warblers on their land this year, and only 1 pair last year. So maybe a good year for garden warblers.
Oh, that's good. Excellent. And then on the way home from work one night, I just stopped at Ardley quickly, as you do, and got out of the car. And I heard this little noise and looked round, and this young pied wagtail was just sat on the fence. So I watched it for a few moments, didn't go too close, but I thought it looks like it's calling for food. So I grabbed my camera and I retreated to a safe distance and sat on the wet grass and waited. And within probably 15, 20 seconds, all of a sudden, its tail started quivering. Its wings, it's got stubby little wings, and its wings were out like this and going like this. And it was shaking and really so excited. And then the adult bird hopped in and got a bit closer. And the adult bird had a nice mouthful of crane fly and goodness knows what's in there by the looks of it. And obviously, when you're feeding your baby, you want to take real care and delicately feed these morsels to the young, delicate child. So got a bit closer and then shoved them right in.
Brilliant.
That's hilarious.
Like, take that, mate.
Yeah, the whole lot, bang, done. So that was fun to watch.
Oh, wow.
Then I had a day out at down at Bowers Marsh and Canby Week with Jan Lewis. So hi, Jan, if you're watching. And managed to connect with the wood sandpiper that's been down there on and off for a little while. So that was nice. Just a digiscope picture on the phone because it was quite a way out, but nice to get a record shot. And while we were there, we had some really lovely views of green hair streak butterflies. So there were at least 3 green hair streaks over the 2 sites, maybe 4. So really nice to see those. And there was plenty of other butterflies. So Red Admiral looking very smart. I thought this one looked nice on the flowers here.
Nice.
Really good.
Yeah, beautiful. Nice colours.
And while we were there, I haven't shown you this. I haven't told you about this actually.
Oh, wow.
There was a peregrine that flew over our heads, and as it flew over, first of all, because all we'd seen so far was hobbies, so just had to take a quick second to confirm it was definitely a peregrine, just bigger and chunkier. But it's carrying something, and I think it's an avocet chick.
Yeah, you can see the curved bill.
Yeah. So obviously not the best quality picture because it was a bit of a way up. Well, that's obviously a bit of a shame for the avocet chick, but of course peregrine does have to eat, as we know. But what happened next was quite interesting because this bird flew around for 3-4 minutes, getting higher and higher, holding the chick. And then all of a sudden, we noticed that it was dangling. I mean, this again is obviously a very poor photo, but it was dangling the chick. And as it was dangling the chick, I think it was probably calling. It certainly looks like from the photo that it's probably calling. And then within 30 seconds or so, another bird came into sight. Now, this looks like an adult. So I'm not really sure what's going on there because I think it's too young. It's too early for the young birds to be sort of catching food that's been caught by the parents, I think. I don't know if they're going to...
Was the first bird an adult?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah,
that's an adult.
Both adults. So was it male and female then?
Well,
and one calls to the other.
That's what I'm wondering. Yeah, I mean, I'm wondering if it's kind of like some kind of display courtship type thing. It didn't. We were hoping for a food party, which didn't happen.
Right.
And they both sort of disappeared off. But I just thought it was really interesting behaviour.
Yeah, I suspect that's what it is, male and female, and either the male or the female called in and said, look what I've caught. Probably the male was caught the avocet, I would think. But
yeah, I mean this bird here looks a bit chunkier, so I'd say that probably is the female. But yeah. And then I got a lovely. I was just pleased with the picture, really. It's a swift, hardly, but managed to. I just wanted to get a nice one with the detail on the feather, so I was quite pleased with that. And you can see the real sort of scaly feather on the plumage. Quite nice.
That's superb.
And then finishing off with some more babies, because obviously time of the year, young things going on. So great crested grebes, they've got little humbugs around the corner. And this little tiny, look at it snuggling up in the neck of its mum there. Nice. Really sweet. And obviously then Dad came along with a snack, and one of the 3 stuck its neck out a little bit further than the others, he who dares, and got the reward. And then we've also got coot. So the coots have had some chicks as well, and they're showing quite nicely. And they're strange looking little things, aren't they, coot chicks?
They are, but aren't they? Yeah. I mean, it's amazing how that turns into a bird that's sort of black and white.
I know. And this little one, look, he was right in the middle, and he was calling. And whatever mum's caught there, I think it's some kind of little larva or grub or something, I'm not sure, from the bottom of the water. But he's coming close and grabbed it and then proceeded to swallow it.
Oh no, not grubs again.
Yeah. got any sugar with that, mum?
But
there you go. Yeah, so that was my month really. So just local stuff, but it's not. I just like watching when you get the water birds feeding the young birds. I just think it's fascinating to watch them doing it. It's lovely.
Absolutely, so, yeah. It's nice. Well done.
What about you?
So me, I've not really done any birding in Essex. Do you know what, mate? I forgot how to share a screen.
There's a big button at the bottom that says share
screen. Yeah, okay. So.
Oh, very nice.
So I have been down in Wales. So I straight after the Big County Birdwatch. In fact, I think it was the next day actually. I headed off to Wales for 5 days. Starting in mid Wales, where
it's a black-faced robin, isn't it?
It's a black-faced robin, exactly. So yeah, common redstart, very good. So yeah, I spent a few days in mid Wales watching things like common redstarts and pied flycatchers.
Nice.
Which are still quite a scarce spring bird in Essex, but they're in quite good numbers on the west coast.
That's a lovely picture. I like that picture.
Well, yeah, I think this is a slightly younger bird because it's quite brown in the wing. But so yeah, redstart, and obviously you can't go to Wales without seeing kites. So we went to a kite feeding station and saw like 350 kites being fed, which was rather special.
Excellent.
And then a couple of days after that, I headed to Portugal. So a bit non-stop at the moment.
I was just going to say you didn't see that in Wales, did you?
No, if I hadn't done, that'd have been a good bird, I reckon. So this is this used to be called azure winged magpie, but now it's called Iberian magpie. It's been split from azure winged magpie. But yeah, these were very common in Portugal. And while you were having some nice weather here, we had some nice weather there as well. So Iberian magpie. Not as good as your picture of a swift, but this is a slightly different species. This is white rump swift. So it's got a really sharp forked tail, big sort of white throat patch. Unfortunately, I never got any shots with the white rump because that would have been really good. But
even from underneath, as you say, you can see it's completely different shape to our swift.
Yeah, absolutely. And these don't arrive in Spain and Portugal until sort of mid-May. So they're quite a late arriving bird. But we managed to have some good views of these. Not a rare bird, but just a little owl. This was right by the side of the road, hence the frame fitting picture.
They always look to me like they're saying, "And what are you doing, taking my picture?"
Exactly. Yeah, this is a bit of a scruffy old one. It's quite an old boy. So yeah, little owl and Montagu's harriers were very common over the sort of grasslands, and we saw things like great bustard and sand grouse, stuff like that, which was really nice.
So for people that don't know, I was going to go. If you go back to the Montes, I've never actually seen one. To be fair, I missed the Abberton one the other day. But what if someone sees a grey harrier? Okay, I know there's a size difference and a jizz difference, but for markings, what are the things that people are looking for in there?
Yeah, so you've got this lovely. The males have got this lovely black band on the secondaries here.
Okay.
Really nice, and it's got sort of 4 primaries.
Right.
As well.
Yeah. So the wings look more pointed, don't they?
More pointed, and yeah, I know you spoke about jizz. I mean, this bird I suspect is slightly not a full adult because it's still got a few brown feathers in the tail here, and a few brown speckles on the back. But they're very. You talk about the jizz; they're much more buoyant than the hen harrier. They're very sort of bouncy, almost turn-like.
Okay.
So yeah, I mean, these used to nest. I would say not commonly by any means, but these used to nest in places like Norfolk and southern Britain. But I think they're very, very scarce breeding bird now.
Okay.
Which is such a shame.
Still worth looking out for this time of year.
Absolutely. And then this is probably Europe's rarest gull, which is Alduin's gull. So a lovely sort of blood red bill and these lovely sort of bluey grey legs.
Gorgeous. Look at that dark eye.
Yeah, they're absolutely they're a very, very smart bird actually. So these were down on the coast. And then back from Portugal. And then yesterday I was up in Suffolk working, leading a day trip at Lakenheath RSPB Reserve, where we had a couple of cranes, which was really, really nice to see. Not the best photograph. It was very hazy yesterday, very much heat haze.
Very nice.
Lots of cranes and hobbies.
Lovely.
So lots of hobbies. We only had up to 20. They'd been up to 60, but We only managed 20 yesterday, which is still pretty good, to be honest. And then we finished off yesterday with an osprey.
Oh, well done.
Young Ollie Cottis picked a raptor up in the distance, and we managed to get the scope on it. It looked sort of flappy, like ospreys do, look very much gull-like. So grabbed the scope, and it was very distant, but it was an osprey. And then it slowly got closer and closer and closer, and flew over us.
Oh, fantastic!
It's not a great shot, but you can hardly see there, but it's got a blue ring.
Oh, okay.
Just there, but
I can just I can see it. Yeah, make it out.
Yeah. So, but just couldn't read the number, unfortunately, or the letters. So
it'd be interesting if it's like a Rutland bird returning up that way or something, maybe.
Yeah. Someone we spoke to said that the birds in Kielder Forest up in Northumberland have got blue rings.
Okay.
And I think some of the other British birds have got blue rings. So yeah.
Brilliant.
All good.
Excellent.
All good.
Well done. Good stuff. Right, anything on the feedback, Steve?
Yeah, we've got a little bit. David Gotts is in Highwoods in Colchester, so nice and local to us, Matt.
Yeah, definitely, just around the corner from me.
Frankie's mentioned about Ziggy the duck. He said it's very, very sad. He said thankfully can't stay again. Thankfully, he doesn't drive and he doesn't intend to. So, yeah, probably for the best. And also Frankie's messaged and said he once had a crow that recognised his face in Holland Park, which is in London.
Had a crow what? Sorry, I didn't hear what you said. Sorry.
The crow recognised Frankie's face.
Oh, really?
He used to go into the park, and obviously the crow got to know him.
Okay.
And then he came down and took seed from Frankie's hand.
Wow.
And he apparently was known as Jeremy Corvid. Terrible.
Oh, my goodness.
So, yeah, that's brilliant. I love that.
Fantastic. Well, unless you're actually a comedian, Frank, you don't give up the day job.
Absolutely. Richard Chew said he saw peregrine causing mayhem amongst the gull colony on the Big County Birdwatch, and there was an assumed pair. So I suspect they're breeding somewhere nearby.
Yeah.
And then Kevin O'Connor says, "Hi Matt, I'm away on holiday in Denmark." Okay, so he's watching from Denmark tonight, which is good.
Oh, hello.
So not at Hanningfield. What were you looking for today, and was it a good visit?
Yes, I was due to meet a friend at Hanningfield today, and it kind of went a little bit wrong. But I just spent about an hour or so stood on the causeway, just having a look off the causeway, really, while we were waiting. And I had 3 red kites, 3 buzzards, all the usual wildfowl you'd expect. A few small things, chiffies, blackcap, song thrush, and so on, reed bunting, and 4 or 5 red-crested pochard, which I don't think I'd seen yet this year. So I was quite pleased to get a year tick on those, which is good. So yeah, thank you for asking.
Richard's messaging again. He said he arrived in Wales for a long weekend just as I left, so he never got me on his trip list.
Okay.
you don't want me on your trip list, believe you me.
No.
And then David Gott says, both David Gott and Frankie are both going away soon. David's going to Cornwall in July. He's hoping for chuff.
Oh, nice.
So,
yeah.
Fingers crossed for that, David. Mm-hmm. And Frankie said hopefully he'll see an osprey in Scotland on holiday. So,
yeah.
Yep. So, yeah.
Fingers crossed.
All good stuff. And I think that's it.
Right. So, shall we look at the Big County Birdwatch statistics quickly? So, as people hopefully know, we had the Big County Birdwatch at the beginning of the month. And thank you very much to everyone who took part and came along to the walks or did bird watching on their own patches and put their sightings onto the portal. So, all of the sightings are in, and just a very quick run through. Can you see that?
Okay, I've just got the sun in my eyes, so I'm just trying to adjust I'm multitasking like Richard tonight.
You're trying to move the sun.
Wow, be nice, wouldn't it?
So yeah, basically, it ran for 4 days from Friday the 5th to Monday the 8th of May. We had a total of 148 entries come in. There were 157 species seen in total over the 4-day period, and that's just in Essex, don't forget, from 62 different locations. And there were quite a few observers that saw, 50 or more species. 9 saw between 50 and 70, 7 saw between up to 100, and then 5 people saw over 100. And these are the locations, and lots of locations in the up to 40, and then 40 to 50 there were 5, 8 in the 50 to 70 bracket, 7 up to 100, and 1 location had over 100. The people that entered, I think the person that saw the most species was Paul Brayshaw with 120 species. Oh, and I think I'm pretty much correct in saying that he did that all from home. That was all either watching from Frington, or he did a gigantic walk, a huge circular walk. We covered it, didn't we? It was about 17 miles he walked.
Yeah, he did an amazing job, to be honest with you.
So it just goes to show you don't have to get in your car and drive all over the place to see birds. You can, go for a walk where you live, and maybe go for a 16, 17 mile walk if you have to, but they will be out there. You will see them. And lots of other people took part on here, as you can see, all the way down. So loads of people. Thank you very, very much indeed. Location wise, I think the best patch was actually Rainham Marshes this year with 104 species. And I know Ben Rumsby patches Rainham regularly. I think he had 92 species this year, and he was only there for kind of a day and a half. So really good area there. Obviously Old Hall and Abberton did really well, as did East Tilbury, as it always does, and Holland Haven, 85 birds there. So it just goes to show there's some, we're really lucky in the county. We've got some real key sites, and obviously we're going to be looking at Holland Haven later on.
Absolutely. I mean, yeah, and also like for the summer weekend, the weather wasn't the best. A lot of the time, it was a bit rainy and cold. So 157 species is just phenomenal.
Absolutely. Number. And then the species that were there, I mean, there was a few. I don't know if you want to pick out a few key ones here, Steve.
I mean, certainly things like Arctic skewer, Arctic terns. I mean, I know they've got black-winged stilt on there, which was down at Rainham. There's night heron at Abberton. Turned up very conveniently during the BCBW. We've got a hen harrier record, which is pretty good. Yeah, Indian peafowl. We'll go over that a little bit. But yeah, there were kittiwakes and razorbill and things like that, which are purple sand, which is quite unseasonable for.
It was just, I mean, short-eared owl as well. It was a good time of year to do it, I think, because you had the summer stuff coming in, some of the winter stuff still around, things were singing. So it was really good fun. And I know we both really enjoyed it, and hopefully everyone that took part enjoyed it as well. Temming stint on there too. So lots of good birds seen, lots and lots of good birds seen. And just very finally, there's a patch rankings thing on here as well. And this is, I think, showing the main person that saw the birds on the patch. So these are the patch rankings again, and you've got who saw the most on each patch. So Paul, for example, had 79 from Frington, and then the rest of his species were added from the other sites that you visited, but they were all on foot. So fabulous work.
Thanks to everyone that entered their sightings on the website. It's very much appreciated. And also thanks to everyone that came on the walks and took part in. We had 20 walks over the weekend. It was a bit manic, like trying to drive from one place to the other, but we just love seeing so many people turn up, and it was brilliant.
And we had lots of volunteers leading the walks as well. It wasn't just us two, it was lots of other people. So Mark and Neil and Mel and Jerry and Simon, and goodness, I've probably forgotten people, but there were lots of people helping us out.
Steve Hallam,
Steve did his dawn chorus, and obviously Andrew behind the scenes on the website. Andrew puts the portal together and processes all the data. And just to remind you, when we do these things, it's not just for fun. All the data goes back to Mick, the county recorder, and it will all make its way into that Essex bird report that we showed you earlier on. So, and there'll hopefully be a feature on it in the magazine at some point. Don't know if we'll get it done for this issue. It might be next issue, but not sure yet. So yeah, fantastic. Thank you. Right. What's next?
What we're doing next? We're doing society. What we've been up to as a society. So
yes,
we've had quite a busy month or 6 weeks or so since the last show. We've had 2 field trips.
We have.
We had an April field trip, and where did we go to in April?
Well, we went to Fingringhoe, and that was on the 16th of April. I've only got one picture from there, but it's the most astonishing picture because I didn't think the Abberton situation would happen again, which is when we had kind of 80, 90 people turn up for one of our field trips. But at Fingringhoe, we had the same thing again. I think I may have shown this picture during the Big County Birdwatch weekend. I can't remember, but that's just some of the people that turned up on the day. There were more that hadn't arrived yet, and I couldn't fit everyone into the photograph. And I think a few people weren't ready, but yeah, we had 85 in the end.
Yeah, that is just, that picture is amazing. I mean, it was a lovely spring day, and we got there about like 20 past 9, and the car park was pretty much full up then. And then the overflow car park filled up, and it's like, okay, how are we going to manage this? But do you know what? We all saw nightingales.
Yeah.
And pretty much the whole group, which is a feat in itself, we all saw adder.
Yes.
And knowing how sort of shy adders can be, and any sort of slight disturbance and they're off. And we managed to we did it in small groups, some in, some out. We had a really good day. And
it was a lovely day. Although I would like to say this was at the beginning of the walk, but the way you're standing there, it looks like you've already done a couple of walks. You look worn out before you start.
I have no idea why I'm crouching down. Obviously, I'm trying to block someone behind me. So
yes, yeah, that's really cool.
Thanks to all the Essex Wildlife Trust Centre staff at Fingering Hoe for looking after us. And there was a bit of a queue for teas and coffees and sandwiches at lunchtime, but they did remarkably well. And yeah, so thanks to them.
Oh, they did. And then when was the second field trip? That was only a few days ago, wasn't it?
Yeah, so on Sunday, which was our May field trip, we headed down. It's a new venue for us. So we headed down to the Knepp Estate in Sussex. So it's very famous for it's sort of rewilded. It's one of the first rewilding sites in the UK, probably the most famous one as well. And it's obviously famous for these bad boys. So yeah, white storks were reintroduced some years back, and they're doing rather well, aren't they?
They're doing very well. I mean, we must have seen at least 20 birds, I would have thought, on the day.
Yeah.
And didn't you say there's 19 pairs there at the moment with at least 10
19
chicks?
Yeah, 19 pairs and 9 nesting pairs, or no, yeah, I can't remember what the figures are. I'll quickly Google it while you're looking at some pictures.
Well, yeah, I mean, this bird just came across towards the end of the day and flew nice low overhead. I know Steve had a nice picture of an adult in a nest with 2 chicks, which I don't know if you've got that to hand. If you haven't, doesn't matter. But we all got some lovely views, and they're just so majestic in flight. They're huge, obviously, and they're just graceful, and it's just really fun to see them. And I'm still not used to seeing them because you don't get them locally, really. There's been the odd one or two knocking around Essex, but to walk around and see that many white storks just flying around and nesting in the trees, it's brilliant. And I think what a lot of people were surprised at is that people thought they were all going to be in one area, but they weren't. They were kind of spread out over the whole site, weren't they?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we started off walking and we picked out like a distant stork, and it was like so exciting to see a stork flying around. And then as we carried on our walk, they were like really close.
We were trying to get everyone on the first stalk with scopes from miles away, just in case we didn't see any more. And then we walked around the corner and there was like a nesting stalk behind the farm building, which was quite lovely to see. So, yeah.
Fantastic.
But the stalks for me weren't the highlight of the day. And it wasn't the McDonald's breakfast either, before Richard Chew mentions anything in the chat. It was what you found, Steve. You found this little... Oh, no, not that one. Hang on a minute. Oh, not that one. Oh, no, I put the wrong picture in. Oh, no. The dingy skipper. I meant to put the dingy skipper in. It's a speckled wood. Oh,
okay. Well,
that spoils the surprise. I'll see if I can find it. Hang on. I'll leave the speckled wood on the page there. But tell us about the dingy skipper.
So firstly, they've got 19 nests this year and at least 10 chicks.
Okay.
That was back on the 5th of May. So I'd imagine more have probably hatched since then.
Yep.
So yeah, so apart from speckled woods and lots of the common species, we were walking back towards lunchtime, and just happened to see a little tiny brown butterfly zip past. Ta-da! And I thought it was going to be a brown Argus, but it turned out to be a dingy skipper. It's a really smart. It's not the most exciting butterfly in the world, but yeah, really nice to see. And it was a new butterfly for you, wasn't it?
Yeah, I've never seen one of these before, and I've only really sort of started to get into butterflies the last couple of years or so. And yeah, I'm really pleased to see this butterfly, because I think it's a kind of quite a localized species in the UK, isn't it? There's not widespread. So yeah, very, very pleased with that. And we did also see the speckled wood, as you've just seen as well. That was very smart. That's not meant to be in here. Sorry about that, but there you go. And we also saw, which you probably saw when I flicked through, these little bad boys. What are these called?
These are yellow dung flies, which I think, I mean, to be fair, I know it's not everyone's cup of tea. But in fact, it's no one's cup of tea.
Yeah. And apologies if you're having a cup of tea at the moment, of course.
For your dinner. Yeah, so these are amazing flies. Ooh. So if you're out birding or walking in the countryside and you come across cowpats or whatever, keep an eye, look at these flies. These are amazing. I love yellow dung flies.
Without being too graphic, I'm making an assumption. Is their coloration partly due to their diet, do you think, or don't you know? Not sure.
You don't know, Matt, to be honest. No idea.
But they're really bright, and they're just fun to watch.
Yep. So yeah, yellow dung flies.
Yes. And then this morning. This morning.
Yeah. So on our chat tonight, obviously we've had messages from Gloria Lamb and Dave Webb, who both joined us. So I haven't mentioned your messages tonight because I was waiting to get to this part. So, but yeah, Gloria and Dave and others joined us this morning for our pop-up bird song for beginners walk.
Yes. So we didn't widely advertise this over social media or the website because it was a very limited group. We were going to keep it to 8, but we had a bit of interest, so we upped it to 10. But that really was the limit, because the idea of this particular event was just to have a quiet walk round. We walked around Tiptree Heath. We met at 8 o'clock, so we waited until the birds had sort of died down from the initial early burst of singing, so it made it easier to pick things out. And by having a smaller group and walking around quietly, we got a chance to really study and have a good old listen to how some of these birds sing. And we were explaining that if you cup your hands behind your ears, it does make it easier to hear, amplifies the sound. So everyone did that. And then after I took the photo, they all realized that they're the ones that are looking stupid, not me, because I'm behind the camera. But no, I think it's just a really good way of making that sound louder. And I struggle with quiet sound. So you'll quite often see me, if I'm on a causeway on my own, I'll be stood here like this, doing this. And that's what I'm doing. I'm listening for bird sound, and it does make it much, much easier to hear. But what do we have? We had quite a few things, didn't we?
So I think we had we heard quite a few nightingales this morning, and blackcap, garden warbler was like you said earlier. Loads of starlings, loads and loads of young starlings, which made trying to listen for the birds a little tricky at times because they were squawking, and we hoped that as we walked past they would fly off, but they just carried on feeding. So probably the bird of the day for me, and probably I'm sure probably for you as well, was we had quite a nice view of a tree creeper, didn't we?
We did, yeah, very close. And it was very vocal as well. It was singing, which you don't often hear tree creepers singing. And this bird sung 4 or 5 times, and it was kind of, going up the trees and flitting from tree to tree. So we got some really lovely views. So yeah, definitely worth listening out for. And I think the people that came along this morning, I don't know if many of them had heard tree creeper. And I was saying that next time you're going through the woods, now you know what you're listening for. You can think to yourself, right, there might be tree creeper here. Let's listen out for it. So, yeah.
A little bit later, wasn't it? We saw the tree creeper again a bit later.
We did. Yes, we did. And that was very nice because, well, we can't really go into too much detail, but we think it's probably breeding there. So
it was very vocal, very vocal. So we assumed that it was a nest nearby. So it was singing, calling. Yeah, and presumably there were 2 birds. So
we think there was a pair. Yeah, so obviously if there's a pair, and if they're being vocal, there's a good chance they might be breeding somewhere there. So that's really, really nice. Yeah, yeah. And
I don't hear tree creeper very often, to be honest. I mean, I know I can hear them, but just don't come across them very often calling. No.
I mean, it's not something I've heard that much. I've heard them probably in the last few years, maybe half a dozen times calling or singing. So yeah, not very often at all. And it's just it's one of those ones that when you hear it, you can kind of try and commit it to memory so that next time you'll know what it is. So yes,
absolutely.
Thank you very much to everyone that came along this morning. Thank you all for posing for that fun, silly photo. and hopefully, people enjoyed it. And if you want to come along to a pop-up event like that in the future, because we will do more, and we may well do more limited events as well, you'll need to subscribe to our newsletter or mailing system, which is at the bottom of our homepage. So if you go to ebws.org.uk, scroll to the very bottom, you can put your email address in. You don't have to put anything else in at all. Hit subscribe, and then we'll keep you updated with society activities. And this one was a first come, first serve basis, which is the fairest way of doing it. So we sent the email out, did it about 7:30, 8 o'clock in the morning, and the first 8 or 10 people that replied were the ones that came along. So thank you very much. Good.
Good morning. Good morning.
Definitely.
A few comments. Richard Chu said the Big County Birdwatch, excellent stuff. More next year, please. So it will be back next year, which is good.
In the autumn next year.
Going to be back in September again next year, and then I think maybe after that we'll try and do a May one again, just to keep it alternating.
Yep.
And Frankie said exactly the same. Yeah, he'll definitely attend next year's. So yeah, I mean, we just love people taking part. And then back to NEP. Both Frankie and Richard. Richard said NEP's amazing. He spent 2 days and a night camping there last year. Brilliant rewilding project by the Burrells. They're the people that own the land, and just goes to show how nature can recover if given a chance. And he said, if anyone's interested in the NEP project, there's a really good book called Wilding by Isabella Tree. Yeah, it's a really good book. I mean, I found it a little bit hard going to start with, but once you were into it, really good book. And then Frankie said, yeah, he really wants to visit NEP. So maybe we'll go back again in the future and see how things are developing.
Watch this space. And it's not too massively far away. And I'm not sure what the public transport system's like around there, but it's just a good walk around. You can spend a nice day there having a good old long walk, and we'll get to see some stalks and other things. So yes.
So, right. And then just finishing up, Sarah Henson-Webb, who joined us this morning.
Yep. Hi, Sarah.
Sorry, we've got lots of things going on tonight. She says it was a cracking morning, heard and learnt lots.
Oh, good.
That's good. And said thanks very much. So yeah, thanks for coming, Sarah. It was amazing. Yeah, brilliant.
Yeah, thank you. Okay. Right. Membership.
Time's
creeping on. It is, isn't it? Right. So membership, very quickly. People know they can join the society. When they join the society, they will get these and one of these. That's all including your subscription. If you buy them separately, these are like 10, 12 quid. These are £5-6 each. So membership for adult is £16.
Yeah, so you're getting 22 quid worth of publications here.
Yep. You get the fixture card. Fixture card comes out before the things go live on the website. So that'll drop through your door. You get first dibs at coming on the field trips, which is good. You also get to come along to the indoor meetings. We had an indoor talk. Well, it was an online one, but last month was Vinehouse Farm. We've got another special event coming up for that, which we're going to talk about in just a second. You get a chance to buy merchandise.
We've got pin badges.
We've got notebooks.
T-shirts.
Caps. All sorts.
Hold on. I can't go quick enough. Shopping bag.
Roll it around.
There you go. Shopping bags.
And there's an umbrella as well, but it's bad luck to put it up. It's raining. It's not raining anyway, so.
And it's bad luck to put it up indoors anyway. So
it is, yeah. And that's all on the website. So if anyone wants to order anything, we're running low on T-shirts at the moment, but we are going to be putting through an order for some more soon. So yes, drop us an email, ebwstalks@gmail.com, or the info normal email address, which is on the website.
Yep, cool.
Yes, so coming up now, normally we have a break in the summer. We stopped doing the field trips for a month or two, but this year we're going right through. So in July, on the 16th of July, we've got a field trip coming up to the Bird Fair. And if I can just quickly bring these up, Steve's going to tell you very briefly what the Bird Fair is.
So this used to be at Rutland Water Nature Reserve, but the last year was the first year of the Global Bird Fair at the Rutland Showground, just outside Oakham. Really great event. If you're into wildlife and birds, lots of marquees. So marquees with binoculars, cameras, holidays, although you really want to shop local with your holidays. Come and see
Swallow birding.
www.swallowbirding.
Other birding guides are not available.
There's clothing, there's bird feeders, there's talks, there's celebrities, there's events. I mean, it's a really great event. I mean, you're going, I'm going to be there. Yeah, come along on the 16th of July.
I have been told that a little tip is to leave your credit card at home though, and then you won't do anything silly. Because the first couple of years I went, I did silly things. So last year I was sensible. This year, jury's out. Wait and see. But anyway.
Wait and see. So yeah, we've got that coming up on the 16th of July.
We have. And then the other one, this one isn't on that list yet. Hang on a minute. I'm just going through our wonderful, splendid website as done by Andrew. And I pop a load of things on here as often as I can. And here we go. So this is the Vinehouse Farm tour. Tell us about Vinehouse Farm, Steve.
So hopefully you would have seen last month's virtual talk about Vinehouse Farm by Nicholas Watts. If you haven't seen it, it's available to watch on our YouTube channel, which of course you would have subscribed to by clicking the bell and all that stuff. But yeah, so Nicholas has invited us up to his farm in August, 20th of August, which is a Sunday. So we're going out on the coach from Chelmsford, and we've got after we get up there, we've got a trip around the farm on a tractor and trailer. It's for a few hours, isn't it? I think, Matt.
Yeah, I think that basically the trip's going to start at 12. We're going to due to get there about 11:15. Sorry, I'm talking quickly because we've got lots more to cover in the show, and I am aware that time's ticking. So tractor, pulled trailer around the farm, have a good old look. He's going to tell us about some of the work they do there. There's a great cafe there. There's a shop there selling farm produce and bird food. We'll be leaving site about 4. I think the trailer tour lasts around 2.5 to 3 hours. This trip is a bit different to the normal one. So by all means, register your interest by emailing us at info.ebws.org. But you need to pay within 7 days of booking on this one because it's a special event that we're putting on. Yep. So the information is all on the website. Email address is on there. Gives you all the instructions. It is filling up. I think there's 45 spaces I think we've got. And at the moment, nearly 30 have been taken already. So it will fill up quite, or be full, sorry, in the next few weeks, I would imagine, if not sooner. The Strumpshaw trip next month is full as well. So these trips are filling up quickly. If you want to get on one, please put your name down early. Don't wait and be disappointed.
Yeah. And it's great time, and all the sunflowers will be out and lots of birds and stuff like that. So yeah, excellent. God, we're flying along. It's going to
be splendid. Right, we've got some pictures to share from people. So I'm just going to quickly have a look. Nothing's coming on the emails while we're talking, which is kind of good because we have got a lot to get through. Right,
an hour already, and then we haven't got anywhere.
I know. So here we go. Viewers, pictures. Right. I've got a little video as well. Don't let me forget about the video. So the first one, we've had pictures sent in by a few people, and we try and show as many as we can. We can't show them all tonight, but we are selecting a few from everyone. So this is from Frankie Robertson, and this is an avocet being harassed by a grey-lag goose, which is quite good fun. So thanks for that, Frankie. We then got also from Frankie, these are in order of who sent them in. So Frankie sent in this Dunnock having a bit of a sing-song.
Nice. And
a reed bunting, not to be outdone, is also having a bit of a sing-song. Nice male reed bunting there. And then a sedge warbler, also having a sing. So quite appropriate this time of year, lots of birds in song. And Frankie's managed to capture some of them there. So thanks, Frankie. Then sent in by Martin Potter. And Martin said, it's not always just birds you see when out birding. This early morning stoat was looking for breakfast and popped out in front of me while I was photographing a heron. Right place, right time, camera in hand. So there you go. That encounter probably lasted just a few seconds if I know much about stoats. Nice. But he managed to capture a shot, which is lovely. So thanks for that. Richard Chew. So Richard Chew sent in, this is an out of county picture, but it was such a nice picture, I thought we'd include it anyway.
I'm so glad about that because I was thinking, where did he take that?
So this was taken up in Westleton Heath in Suffolk. And this is, of course, a woodlark. And an absolutely glorious, lovely picture. He's also sent in a pair of little ring plovers within the county, which is very, very nice. Thank you. And then we got this beautiful female adder at Benfleet and Hadley Downs. What a fantastic looking creature. Just amazing. Beautiful. And then his local patch, His local fox family, they've had cubs. So he said most days when he goes out, he engages with these cubs and the parent in some form or other. So he sent in some lovely fox pictures, and I really like that last one. That's glorious.
Beautiful, beautiful, nice shot.
Thank you very much indeed. And then finally, this was from Robin Pettit, and he said on 2 occasions last week he observed a kestrel perched in a tree in the Epping Forest area. Obviously not unusual in itself, but several times it dived into the grass and picked up a leather jacket. It was for him the first time he's managed to photograph a kestrel on the ground, and also an illustration of the varied diet of kestrels. So Michael Shrub, in his excellent book, The Kestrel, suggests that insects are underestimated in the diet of kestrels because they usually do not show up in the pellets of indigestible matter that the birds regurgitate. So there you go, it just shows. And I actually replied back via email. I've probably mentioned before, I've watched peregrines worming before, which I thought was quite funny. The fastest animal in the world hunting earthworms, which just made me laugh when I watched it. But that's a really interesting picture. Thank you very much indeed for that, Robin.
Presumably they get quite a bit of moisture. They get quite a bit of moisture from insects as well.
Well, yeah, I would imagine so. Yeah, I mean, it's this time of year. You know, if you've got a bird table in the garden, if you can do so, if you can feed live food. I bought some live mealworms a couple of weeks ago, and they went down a treat. Yeah. And I even gave some to the birds as well. If you can, if you can put out some live. I wondered how long it would take before that sunk in. If you can put out some live food, they do contain much more moisture than the dried food. But yeah, brilliant. Right.
So I think we've just got Sean Mulqueen. He said, "Hi all, just subscribed."
Thank you.
Excellent.
Brilliant.
Thanks for subscribing. Excellent.
Thank you very much.
And I think I think generally that's pretty much it for the time being, I think.
Right, so we're going to have a break. After the break, we've got the results from the photo competition. We're going to do a quick roundup of the key sightings in the county, and then we've got the Holland Haven guide, which we think the guide will probably take around about 30 to 40 minutes, which is why we're kind of rushing through this part.
Yeah, quick.
But it's going to be worth having a look at because a lot of people want to know about that site. So I'm going to do one of our terrible, horrendous break things now. Apologies in advance. Hang on a minute. If I can find it.
If not,
right, here we go. And we're going to go with the Chiff Chaff one.
Oh, the old ones are the best.
I know. Can you see it?
Yep.
Here we go. Right. Sorry, everyone. See you in 3 minutes.
It worked.
Oh, crikey. That was good timing. I've just been checking the results of the final for the competition and realised I hadn't kind of put the pictures in order or anything because I've just been doing that during the break. So I've just finished it. Yes, excellent.
It's always good to have a few minute break.
Exactly.
In the middle. Just
I'm going to call that was more of a panic break than a relaxing break, but there you go. We got there. Right.
So
yes.
So
final
results. Photographic results are in.
We are going to do this in reverse order, hopefully. Hang on a minute. Here we go. So we have. Can you see a rather stunning kestrel?
Yeah, beautiful.
Okay. So you're going to notice something as we go through these top 4. So first of all, huge thanks to everyone that sent in photographs. We had nearly 90 submissions this time. The quality was, again, really good. And as I said, we've got all the photos we're going to play out with at the end. So you'll get to see them all later on. So if you did send one in, watch till the end because you'll get to see your photo, hopefully, if I've done it right. Thanks to everyone who voted, of course. And for the first time ever, we've got a person who had 3 photographs in the final.
Oh, really?
But yeah, so you're allowed to send 3 photos in, and all 3 of Martin Buckley's photos made it to the final. Now, obviously, no one knows that apart from Martin. We don't publicise the names. In fact, I don't even know who's taken them. I just download them, don't look at them until I do this. Literally 2 or 3 days ago, I put names on everything. So it's all done as fairly as we can. So 4th place is this lovely kestrel staring out through the foliage there. In 3rd place, I hope. Hang on a minute. Hey, there we go. Got the cuckoo.
Oh, nice.
The exposure on that and the sharpness, absolutely stunning. The other thing that doesn't quite come across when we're doing this, the way that the photos are uploaded to websites, to Twitter and so on, even doing this on Zoom, that there's compression that takes place, so you don't see the full clarity of the picture. I think a lot of people realize that, but if you see this, actually the original format that you sent it to me, it's just so sharp and gorgeous. It's lovely. Second place, we've got this beautiful robin by Steve Cox.
Oh, that's nice.
And it's really having a bit of a sort of territorial display, I think, there, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Obviously,
and of course, that means in first place, cracking hobby, gorgeous hobby again by Martin.
Congratulations, Martin.
And I'd like to also congratulate the hobby for being the first ever hobby that's caught an invisible dragonfly. Or is there something in there?
Oh, I think it's invisible dragonfly.
It might be something really small, not sure, don't know. But
wow.
I think that's a lovely shot. And again, the exposure, hobbies fly so fast.
Absolutely.
So that is a really cracking shot. So thank you very, very much, Martin. Congratulations for getting 3 in the final. Well done for getting the winner. I'll be in touch with you and we'll sort out getting a picture to you. I'll either meet up with you if I can or post it out to you if not. But thank you very much indeed. Well done. Congratulations. And for anyone who's interested, the summer competition is kind of now on. So it'll be any photographs taken from the 15th of May, which is when this competition ended. But we'll be launching the competition at the beginning of June. So all the details will be on the website and social media from around about the 1st of June.
Yep, excellent. And thanks to everyone that took part. It was, there were lots of entries this time, and there were so many good photographs. Judging was just whittling down the top 10 was really tricky. And for Martin to get 3 in the final, it just goes to show, how great they were. Really was good.
Superb. Right. Any feedback?
Feedback. No, Frank. Les Malloy says, "Evening, everyone."
Hi, Les.
And then Sean Mulqueen says, "Well done, Martin." So yeah, absolutely. Yeah, well deserved winner that was.
Right.
And then we're good. And then we're good to go. So roundup of sightings from around the county, I think.
Yes. Do you want to go first?
Yeah. So luckily, we did a lot of the birds in the Big County Birdwatch. So pretty much we've only sort of counted from the 9th of May onwards. So it's quite short for me. So I'm doing the south of the county. So kicking off in East Tilbury. East Tilbury's had wood sandpiper. There's been a few wood sandpipers moving through Essex this spring. Arctic and black terns and little gull. So they're nice birds to catch up with in spring. Bowers Marsh has had wood sandpiper as per Matt's photograph, and up to 3 cattle egrets in the last few days.
Very nice.
It's a good bird. Wallasey Islands is still a few spoonbills knocking around Wallasey, and it's also had gargany.
Yep,
which is nice. Canvey Point, again, a few seabirds. We've had Arctic tern, razorbill, little gull, and fulmar. So they're quite scarce sightings for May, which is really good. Yep. And then heading over to West Essex on the 9th, a hoopoe was reported in Epping in a garden.
Good.
I haven't got any more details than that, but it's a really good sighting. Hanningfield has had black tern. They've been very scarce this spring so far. I don't know. Presumably, we've just not had any easterly winds.
No, I don't think there's been any at all at Abberton yet. So
no, first year for a long time there's been no black terns. And then Blue House Farm has had up to 3 temming stints. So Blue House Farm has been closed for a year or two while they've been doing lots of work there, management work. But it's all open now, and obviously the work's paid off because it's had 3 temming stint, wood sandpiper, and gargany, which is a really good species. And that's me. That's pretty much it done for me.
Okay.
Short and sweet.
Thank you. Yes. Well, yeah, we're not short, to be fair. That's me. I can be short. That could be on your nickname, short and sweet. Excellent.
Right.
Oh dear. Anyway, right. Okay. Don't spill your drink.
I didn't respect me trying to think out.
Right. Okay. So quick run through from me. So obviously it's been hobbies, common sandpipers, little and Arctic terns, spotted redshanks, cuckoos, nightingales. This is all up in the north of the county. Spotted flycatcher. This was a lovely image taken by Brian Combs over at the Naze. There's also lingering hen harriers and short-eared owls as well. So lots of stuff coming in and going through and so on and so forth. But key sightings on the 12th of May, there were 2 wood sandpipers at Holland Haven. Richard Jeffrey found them. Then also on the 12th of May, cattle egret at Abberton. 16th of May, an osprey flew over Mersey. Steve Entwistle reported that. Then on the 18th of May, we had 2 black-winged stilts at Old Hall Marsh. You didn't cover Old Hall Marsh, did you? Don't think you did.
No, I didn't actually. No,
no, that's good. That's fine.
My apologies.
Didn't think you had. So
no.
This photo was sent in by David Curl, sent into the website, and lovely picture showing the 2 birds together. And then John Norgate kindly sent me some pictures as well of the 2 birds separately, slightly closer images. And they're cracking birds, aren't they? They're just gorgeous, really Absolutely. Lovely. Then there was also temming extinct on the 18th. There were 5 temming extinct reported by Ashley Gooding at Abberton. And I think there was another one over at Fingeringhurst at the same time. Then on the 19th, what a cracking bird this is. Look at that. Absolutely gorgeous. So Dick Groves kindly sent me in this picture. Darrell Style found this stunning male Kentish plover at the Naze. Still a bird I've not seen, and I really wish I'd been able to get over and have a look at that. But what a lovely bird. Also on the 19th, at the Cataway, there was Gargany. On the 20th at Abberton, there was another osprey seen by Colin Mackenzie-Grieve. And then also on the 20th, we had this.
Hey, 2 night herons. Yeah.
2 night herons on the 20th. John Norgate, again, kindly sent me this picture. You've got an adult bird at the top there. And then we think that's kind of a sort of first summer or second year bird, however you term whatever the terminology is, because you've still got a lot of the juvenile plumage on the wing here, but you're starting to get the black and brown sort of coloration come through on the back of the bird. So stunning, absolutely stunning. Also on the 22nd, little stint at Hanford Water by Brian. And then on the 23rd of May, Montague's Harrier was seen by Simon Patient at Abberton. That was a fly through, but cracking spot for Simon. And obviously the spoonbills, as we said earlier, are back at Abberton as well. Paul Brayshaw has done a summary from Frinton. He said it's been generally quiet offshore. He could do with something other than a breezy northeasterly and clear skies, though, which is what you were saying, Steve.
Yeah, absolutely.
Offshore, freshening northerly winds with rain and reduced visibility on the 12th produced an excellent northbound movement of auks, with 5 razorbills, 6 guillemots, and 9 further large auk species, with a supporting cast of 34 gannet and 3 fulmar. Calmer conditions the following morning found a spotted flycatcher on the undercliff, whilst 10 sandwich tern passed offshore. Meagre highlights then included 44 sandling on the 15th, 44 common scoter on the 22nd, whilst kittiwake were noted fairly regularly. At long last, a drop in the wind strength and brief changes to westerlies early on the 24th saw the Brents make a strong departure from first light with 25 flocks, totaling 1,179 birds noted, with a supporting cast of 2 fulmar, 22 sandling, 8 medgull, and 17 kittiwake. The daytime passage was generally steady, with 101 swallow on the 10th, 19 siskin north on the 14th. There were the peaks, with small numbers of the latter still passing on the 24th. But the highlight of the month, on the 15th, a superb honey buzzard. Wow. It appeared low over the back garden, with jackdaws and gulls in tow, possibly having just arrived off the sea. And then he said, and finally, on the 23rd of May, a curlew flying south could be the start of the autumn passage. You don't know. I mean, sometimes these birds go up north, they're not successful in breeding, and they think, oh, I'm going back home then.
Yeah, the autumn passage for waders normally starts in June, early June. So let's hope not. Let's hope not.
Right, very quickly, before we do the Holland Haven guide, I've just got missed Andy's video. So Andy Field kindly sent in a very short 15-second clip of the night heron, if I can find it. Hang on, here we go. And
there you go.
Can you see that?
Yep.
Right, are you ready? So most of the time it's sort of sat still out in the open, but it walked and he got it. Look at those great big yellow legs.
Oh, superb. Look at that. Careful bit of stalk in there.
Fabulous. I think that was just before we got there, I reckon, because it was hidden in that location, wasn't it, when we got there? So thanks for that, Andy. Fantastic. Thank you for sending it through. Yeah, just cracking colours on those legs. Right, are we ready?
Just very, very quickly, Matt. We've got Steve Cox, who came second said, gobsmacked to get second. Hearty congratulations to Martin. Absolutely agree with that. Stanley Davis said he had spotted flycatchers on the 16th of May on his local patch, which is really good. And I think that was maybe the first record for the county. And then Bright Rach said, well done, Martin and Steve. And then Jim Humes just joined us as well, says evening all.
Oh, hi, Jim. How you doing?
And then we can go.
I want to know what the football score is for Richard, though.
He's been quiet, so it can't be good.
It could be 2-0 Chelsea, I reckon, maybe. Anyway, right. Here we go. So we are going to do a Holland Haven site guide.
Whoa.
We should have just played that instead of...
You know what? People would much prefer to watch John's video than us waffling on about pillboxes and stuff.
Wasn't that lovely? Really nice. Really nice.
It was amazing.
So apologies, I think my computer went a bit funny in the middle with the turnstones. When I upload the guide, I'll chop in the proper video so we don't get that. But yeah, I mean, some of the camera angles he got there were lovely. And I love the sort of the fast forwardy bits between locations. Yeah, really good.
And so you're there and he gives some height to it. It's brilliant.
I know, it felt like you were going to fly into the clouds at one point, didn't it?
Yeah.
But, yeah, so really...
He's not that tall, I know that.
No, thanks, John. Really appreciate that. And I hope everyone enjoyed that. Yeah, I think Richard's just saying excellent video. Mike's saying great video. So yeah, thoroughly echo those sentiments. Right.
We've already been asked whether we might do one for the Nays by Stanley Davis. Again, one of those places where people, the escarpment, the cricket pitch. So
Sycamore Clump, yeah.
Watch this space. Maybe we'll do something a little bit later in the year for that. That
could be an epic as well, because if we do the whole circuit round and come out of the fish and chip shop, that could take the whole program on its own. But yeah,
no, maybe we'll just keep it to a all of it. You mentioned you mentioned fish and chip shop, so that's always good.
Yeah, I saw you. You just perked up there, didn't you?
Fish and chips.
Let's start nodding off. Fish and chips, yay! I think that's pretty much it, really. We're going to play out with the photo competition entries. Anything else in the messages? Let me just check the email.
We've had a few bits and bobs. So there was a hoopoe reported at Rainham Marshes, which I forgot to mention. It's on my bit of paper as well. Richard was asking who owns the land at Holland Haven, and is there any active habitat management? Well, it's certainly Tendring District Council, as far as I know. And I'm sure they do have a management plan for the site, but I'm not quite 100% sure about that.
Yeah, it's definitely Tendring District Council, and I have seen people sort of working on the site, but I don't know what the land management plan is itself. So not sure. But yeah, it's certainly it's always in good nick. It doesn't, it's always really nice to visit.
And quite a lot of people like the guide, but especially John's video. So no, thanks for all the nice comments, everyone. Yeah. He puts a lot of time and effort into those, and they are amazing.
Yeah, really good.
Yeah, I think I'm pretty much. There's a little bit about football, but never mind.
What's the score? Please tell me United aren't winning 2-0.
No, they are winning 2-0. And Mike O'Hanlon's just messaged that I could provide us with some drone footage of the Nays.
Oh,
so if we do a site guide, which we will do, that'd be great, Mike.
That would be really good. Yeah, definitely.
Oh, apparently it's 4-0 now.
4-0. Oh, yeah. Okay. Don't listen to Richard if you want to put a bet on then, because 2-0 I'd have lost my tenner.
So probably everyone that's watching tonight, thanks for being very patient with us tonight. We always try like for an hour and a half or so, and it always overruns a little bit. But it's live.
Anytime we do a site guide, because they normally take 30-40 minutes themselves, don't they? So we've got the choice. We can either do it as a separate standalone piece, or we do it as part of the show and then put it out later on. So we normally do that option. But if people would prefer us to do it as standalone, let us know. But hopefully everyone doesn't mind watching, and thanks for staying with us.
We appreciate
At least you didn't have to watch boring old Man U win 4-0.
Exactly. And as we mentioned earlier, we've got some great upcoming events before we finish up tonight. So we've got the Vinehouse Farm Trip on the 20th of August. Global Bird Fair, 16th of July, both on a Sunday. So that all the details are available on our website, www.ebws.org.uk. Our summer photograph competition is on. What else is there, Matt? Subscribe to our mailing list. Subscribe to our YouTube channel.
Go on the mailing list, because if we decide to do any more pop-ups, we may well just put them on the mailing list, people, to keep numbers manageable. YouTube channel, as Steve said, the new fixture list for the Essex Birdwatching Society is coming out in June, July-ish, with the next issue of Essex Birding. If you're a member, you'll get that through your door. If you're not a member, if you join, you'll get it through your door. Or if you wait until the beginning of August, they'll all be on the website. But by then, they might be full. So it could be a good time to join if you want to come along and take part in the field trips, because they are really good fun. And that's it, really. I think, thank you very much for everyone watching. We're going to play out with the entries to the spring competition. All of the photographs that we received are in this little video. Hopefully it'll play okay. And then we'll probably just come right back in at the end just to say cheerio. All right.
Keep our cameras on.
Can you see a blank screen there, Steve?
Yes, mate. I can see a blank screen. All is good.
Excellent. Right, I'm going to turn the camera off, turn the video off, and enjoy this just for a few moments.
Aren't you going to keep your video on, Matt?
I might come back in at the end, maybe.
Okay, that's good.
Yeah.
Okay, mate.
All right. Okay. I've got no idea if that worked. Probably not.
No. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, I don't care.
Amazing entries, everybody.
Yeah.
No,
thank you very much. That was really, really good. And huge thanks to everyone that took part. And I think your picture was in the corner, but maybe not mine. I was full on air guitaring and everything, but
hopefully you were there. But...
Maybe not. No, that was really good. And hopefully everyone just likes seeing their picture put out there. We'll try and put them out every single time, depending on how popular the competition gets. Obviously, it does take a little while to put these videos together, but we'll do our best to keep doing it and keep all the photos out there. Right, I think
time.
Yeah, bedtime. Yeah,
we've had a long day today, haven't we? So we had the pop-up event this morning. This now, so yeah, time for us to go.
Yeah.
Thanks to you for putting all the stuff together, Matt. As always.
No, well, thanks to you and to John. And to everyone for watching. To everyone that came along this morning to the pop-up bird song. Just get out there, get birding. Don't forget to put your sightings on the website. Don't forget to join if you're not a member. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button and like us and all those sort of things. Or give us thumbs up and thumbs down if you want to, but don't do that. Give us thumbs up, please.
Let's see if anyone's still watching. Everyone's gone to bed probably. So
they're all watching Man U, I think. Yeah,
probably. But no,
David's still watching. Yeah, good night, David. Thanks.
Night, David. Yeah, brilliant. No, thanks for everyone's comments tonight. It's much appreciated because we do it for you guys and girls. So brilliant. Thanks to everyone that contributes as well.
Brilliant. See everyone out there and take care. Happy birding.
Happy birding.
Bye.
Bye.